I would like to invite now Ms. Antje Rotemund, Head of the Council of Europe Office in Serbia, to give her opening speech.
Thank you, Mrs. Chairman, and thank you very much for having me again here. Assistant Minister, Distinguished Rector, President of the National Council on Education, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues and friends, it's nice to be back here. Last year, around, I think it was before summer, I attended a conference here in the Palace of Serbia when the Refles project was launched. And it was in a much smaller room. I think it was in the Belgrade room last year. Now we are already in the room Yugoslavia. That means the possibility of attendance has doubled. And that for me means that the language learning project in Serbia is on a good way, and there is a growing alliance of people and a growing cooperation between the different sectors in education and in the national authorities to push this strategy forward. So I'm very happy to be here again today. This year I have been asked to talk particularly about the Council of Europe's language education policy, and the pre-speakers have already made a couple of references to it. In the agenda it says, I will also speak about European language policies of the European Union, but I think I'm not going to do that in detail. You will hear more about it of other speakers, but a lot of the Council of Europe achievements in that field have actually been the basis for European Union language policies. As you know, the Council of Europe is an intergovernmental organization having 47 member states at the moment. Serbia is a member of our organization since 2003. And the Council of Europe has been carrying out language research and developing language policies since 1957 by our language policy unit, but also since 1994 by our European Center for Modern Languages in Graz, which is actually an institution that helps to improve qualifications mainly through teachers' training and development of educational materials. The Council of Europe language education policy aims to promote not only language learning for the sake of having higher qualifications for the labor market and higher education to access probably also education programs that would otherwise not be accessible. But for us, language learning is very much also a means to contribute to social cohesion, to democratic citizenship, to citizens' participation, and to diversity in Europe. And last but not least, also for the mutual understanding of the different people and peoples in Europe, and intercultural communication, peace, and also reconciliation. In this respect, language has an irreplaceable function to help us to understand ourselves and also the others. Not so long ago, we celebrated here in Serbia, also like everywhere in Europe, the European Day of Languages, which is a day that we celebrate together, the Council of Europe and the European Union since 2001. And the University of Belgrade had a very prominent event at this occasion in the university together with the European Network of Cultural Institutes, and there were events all over the country celebrating this diversity of languages as a possibility to actually open another world. Learning a language is much more than just acquiring new knowledge. It can open completely new visions to culture, to literature, to theater, and of course also to traveling and to meeting other people. And I was really very excited to see the interest of the general public in this European Language Day and how many people came to our events simply to find out how can I learn a language. And the demands that people had were extremely diverse and went much beyond the, let's say, the most learned languages in Europe. The main achievements of the Council of Europe in the language policy are definitely a few that I want to list now. The Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, I think, is something nobody remembers that it comes from us, but everybody knows what it is. The A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2 language references, which has been a very important step forward to actually go away from merely mathematic counting of language knowledge in number of words, but in a description which was also supported by the reference level descriptions that went along with it. That means we can identify groups of language needs and are able to pinpoint the knowledge and the know-how required for attaining what we call a communication threshold. So which level of language allows me to communicate on which level? We are very proud of our European language portfolio, of course, and I was really happy to see that it now exists in a Serbian translation, so thank you very much for pushing this forward. The European language portfolio goes along also with a Europass language passport, which has become a very important means also for classifying curriculum vitae for job applications and the Euro standard curriculum CV, which allows us to compare knowledge and also recognize knowledge that is achieved, is acquired on language learning level. The European Charter for Regional and Minority Languages, Assistant Minister File listed all the minorities in Serbia. Serbia has ratified as early as 2004 this charter, which is a very important means not only to recognize these languages, but also to keep them alive. We have a couple of, let's say, endangered species in Europe when it comes to minority languages that are only spoken by a few 10,000 of people. And we have a responsibility to keep them alive and keep them spoken. Now, I don't want to be too long, I know their time is precious, but I would like to say that I am particularly happy that I was authorized by the Assistant Minister to announce that Serbia is going to sign the partial agreement on the European Center for Modern Languages in Graz. We have been discussing that for a while. And Minister Obradovic and Assistant Minister File pushed now to ensure that for next year in the budget 2013 this possibility will exist. So Serbia will join the partial agreement, and that means that Serbian teachers, Serbian educational institutions will have access to all the offers of our training field and manuals and educational policies in that field, which are made accessible and translatable and can be of very practical use in the schools and university. So I am particularly pleased that the announcement coincides with this conference today, because that is underlining the need for this big room for this conference. Now, coming to the end, I would not like to miss to make a very personal address also to the representatives of the media here. As a foreigner living in Serbia, I am very happy that the Serbian media support language learning by the policy of broadcasting original movies with subtitles. We know that this is an extremely important contribution not only to language learning as such, but also to motivate people to learn languages, because they know that learning languages can give them access to something that they would otherwise not experience. I have been living in several other countries before I came here. Most of them didn't do that. And one can actually feel this even in very small routines in the country. You know, I go in the supermarket and go shopping, and the cashier at the counter speaks a couple of words of English, and she says, "Oh, I learned it from the movies." And I hope that the media in Serbia will continue with this practice because this is a very, very important contribution to learn not only English through American movies, but also through all the other languages that one hears on Serbian television. Now, I would like to wish you a very good work today. Thank you again for the invitation. As I said last year, I would like to say that you can count on the support of the Council of Europe Experience to make this language learning ambitious project in Serbia a success. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Rotemund, for accepting our invitation and for being with us this second time. And for recognizing the importance and the significance of this endeavor. I would really very much to thank you both, the Assistant Minister, Ms. Vesna Fila, and Ms. Antje Rotemund, for bringing us this extremely good news. This was what we wanted from the beginning of the project for Serbia to become a member of the ECML, European Center for Modern Languages. Thank you very much.